Hello everybody, today we've got a rare alternate history video, and we've got 2012, and it's going to be Barack Obama for the Democrats, and we're going to swap out Mitt Romney for Rick Santorum for the Republicans. So I don't do these videos often, even though I get a lot of suggestions. They're very difficult to do. Everybody has their own take, especially in hindsight, but let's start with a little bit of background about this race. 2012, Obama got 332 electoral votes. He carried 26 states plus DC, 51.1% of the popular vote. Mitt Romney got 206 electoral votes, carried 24 states, good enough for over 47% of the popular vote. So the question is, would Rick Santorum do better or worse than Romney? Well, today I don't think Rick Santorum would have much success at all, but we got to go back more than 10 years ago, and Santorum did have success in Pennsylvania, and that was not considered to be a red state. He won 2 terms in the U.S. Senate. Eventually, he lost big time in his re-election in 2006. I think he's a more conservative candidate than Romney. But at the same time, Romney, when it comes to charisma and gut reaction, I think a lot of voters did think Romney could actually be president. I don't think they're going to get that same impression from Santorum. Now, we already know about Obama. He did a little bit worse in 2012 than he did in 2008. He was inspirational. He did well in the Rust Belt, got a lot of blue-collar working class support. Would Santorum be able to cut into those margins? Ultimately, I don't really think so. To me, this race comes down to the evangelicals. That's going to be the demographic for Santorum. I think he could do a little bit better in certain states, but in other states, he would do a little bit worse. Ultimately, I don't see a lot changing with these states. At that time in politics, I think Obama would be favored to win re-election regardless. After that time, then politics did start to change into more of what we understand it to be today, but this is difficult to do. I do look at every state. I try to gauge what the margin would be. Let's try to quickly fill out this map. We'll start in Alaska. Romney won that by 14 points. I think Santorum would do a little bit worse, but I'm still going to say that's over 10 and safe for Santorum. Hawaii is very blue, and that is going to be safe for Obama. Now we've got the West Coast, Washington, Oregon, California. I don't think Santorum is going to do better in these states. They were already safe for Obama, and they're going to stay safe. Now we've got Nevada. Obama won this by a likely margin. I would guess Santorum would do a little bit worse. It would get close to 10 points, but I'm still going to say it's likely for Obama. Idaho and Utah, super red states. Santorum easily wins those by a safe margin. How about Arizona? Romney won it close to a safe margin. I'm going to say Santorum does a little bit worse, so it's still going to stay likely for Santorum. Montana, I think, could narrow up just a little bit, but I still think it's a red state, even though today I don't think Santorum would do really well here. Back then, he would win that by at least a 10-point safe margin. Wyoming, safe for Santorum. Colorado, back then, it's not as blue of a state as it is today. Obama won it by over 5 points. With Santorum, I'm going to say that we get up to about 7 to 8, so it's going to stay likely for Obama. New Mexico, back in 2012, that was just over 10 for Obama. In this matchup, I don't think it's going to change. It's going to be safe for Obama. North and South Dakota, those are going to stay safe for Santorum. Nebraska at large, that's going to be safe for Santorum. The 2nd District, Romney actually won that by a likely margin. In this matchup, I'm going to take that down to it leans for Santorum. 1st and 3rd District, safe for Santorum. Kansas, safe for Santorum. It's going to be the same thing in Oklahoma and also in Texas. Back then, much redder of a state. Santorum is going to win that safe. How about Minnesota? Obama won that by about 7.5 points. In this matchup, I think Santorum is going to do worse. Probably just enough to get this right at a 10-point margin. So that's enough for me to put it at safe for Obama. How about Iowa? Now we get into a state that has more of an evangelical impact. Obama did win it by over 5 points, but Iowa was a little bit different of a state back then. I think in Des Moines and Polk County, Santorum would do a little bit worse. Some of the other counties, he would do a little bit better than Romney. So it's close, but ultimately I think Santorum would do slightly better, and Obama would win that close to 5, but by a lean margin. Next state, Missouri. This was another one, close to 10 points for Romney. Santorum, I think, would get that over the line, and it's going to go safe for Santorum. Arkansas, Louisiana, safe for Santorum. Let's go up to Wisconsin. Obama won this by a likely margin. I think Santorum would do a little bit worse, just under 10 points, probably 9 to 9.5, likely for Obama. Illinois, Obama's home state, of course he still wins that by a safe margin. Michigan, back in 12, this was close to a safe margin for Obama. In this matchup, I think Santorum is going to do a little worse. Obama is going to get it by a safe margin. Indiana is going to be likely for Santorum. Kentucky and Tennessee, safe for Santorum. In Mississippi, and as we get into the southern states, of course the evangelical vote goes up. We also have to factor in the black voters that went heavy for Obama. And the state was not as polarized as it is today, but all things considered, I still think Santorum wins this by a safe margin. Alabama is also going to go safe red. Next state, we go all the way down to Florida. Obama won this by less than 1 point, and this was a tough state for me. Santorum would probably do pretty well in the northern part of the state and in the panhandle, but in some of the more competitive counties, I think he would do a little bit worse. Maybe after everything, it's only by about a point or so, but that's enough for me to take this from a tilt to a leans for Obama. Next state, Georgia. Considering all the same factors, especially in the South, this is going to stay at likely for Santorum. South Carolina, that rating was safe. It's going to stay at safe for Santorum. How about North Carolina? That win for Romney by about 2 points. It's tough, but I'm going to say everything kind of evens out here. Santorum is at least able to win it by 1 point, so it's going to go leans for Santorum. Now we jump up to Ohio. Obama won it by about 3 points. In this matchup, in this Rust Belt state, I think enough blue-collar workers would still prefer Obama over Santorum. I'm going to say that's about a 4 to 5 point lean margin for Obama. West Virginia is safe for Santorum. Now we go to the northeast corner to Maine at large, and that is going to be safe for Obama. He already easily won that by over 10. That's not going to change. The first district safe for Obama. The second district, Santorum going to do a little bit worse. That's going to take this to a safe margin for Obama. Next, it's New Hampshire, and that's going to go likely for Obama. Now we've got the blue states. These ratings are not going to change. We've got Vermont, New York, Massachusetts, Connecticut, Rhode Island, New Jersey, Delaware, Maryland, and Washington, D.C. All easy calls, safe for Obama. Now we've got Pennsylvania. This is Rick Santorum's home state. They did support him twice for the U.S. Senate. He did lose pretty badly in 2006. Obama won the state over Romney by just over 5 points. Given that it is Santorum's home state, I'm going to give him a slight bounce here. And I know 2012 was already 6 years after his Senate loss, so they were already kind of done with Santorum here, but I'm going to be nice and say that gets it close enough to go leans for Obama. The last state is Virginia. The formerly red state went to Obama by almost 4 points. Santorum, of course, would do better in the western part of the state, not really so well in the D.C. suburbs. I think that's going to be enough to take this to a likely margin for Obama. And that's the final map, and that comes out to 332 for Barack Obama, 206 for Rick Santorum. That's actually the same as the actual result, but ultimately Santorum does about 1 to 3 points worse across most of these states. Some of the states with a higher evangelical population, I see him doing a little bit better, but then at the same time, even if it doesn't mean a lot, I think Santorum would do slightly worse with black voters and with independents. Now maybe I'm underestimating Rick Santorum, and voters would actually want to come out for him as opposed to Mitt Romney, who they view as maybe kind of a fake conservative, but I do think he was a little bit too conservative to be able to win a national election. Plus, Obama was an incumbent. I know politics were changing, especially in the Rust Belt, but I don't think Santorum was going to be the guy to accelerate it. Romney was supposed to be the moderate choice to be able to do well in the suburbs and flip enough of these states to win. That did not pan out at all. I don't think Santorum would do better. Maybe you looked way more into Santorum, and there's some hidden appeal that I'm just not seeing. And again, as difficult as these maps are to fill out, they're way easier to do in hindsight. Of course, today I don't think Santorum would get anything done, but back then things were a little bit different, and some of these margins are close enough to where they could flip. Florida and North Carolina, those are low single digits. Maybe Santorum does do way better in a state like Iowa with the evangelical appeal. I'm just not seeing it. Obama still had enough popularity to probably beat any of these Republicans, but again, it's way easier to say this after the fact. The whole point of this is just to try to play it out, spark some discussion, and this is the map that I settled on. So let me know in the comments, what do you think about this matchup? Would Santorum do better than I think, or do you think he would actually do way worse? Let me know down below. On your way out, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Join or donate if you'd like to support the channel. Thank you for watching, and I will see you on the next video.